Welcome back to another week in making space in music. We are killing it. We have learned how to put our trombone together, take good care so that our slide, our valves, our tuning slides are all moving well. Last week we got to learn about air and how important it is to have good, solid positions and good, solid air that comes in and out. We also talked a little bit about buzzing and the importance of using our mouthpiece to make sure everything is set up correctly to make a good quality sound. So this week we're going to use some of those things, or use all of those things, to talk about articulation. It's another big word that can kind of throw us off a little bit, but articulation is about how we place our tongue to make different kinds of sounds. So you'll probably be familiar at this point that you have regular quarter notes. You can have slurred notes that are connected together. You can have staccato notes that have a little dot over top. All of these have different kind of positions inside your mouth, and it'll come out differently in your trombone. So for us, we typically refer to the two main kinds that we'll have of articulation as ta and da. So that's T-A and D-A. You'll notice even when you say the word ta and da, feel where your tongue hits on the back of your mouth. When I say ta, my tongue is hitting kind of the middle where my teeth are, the back of my teeth. Ta, ta, ta. And when I say da, da, my tongue is kind of on the closer to the roof of my mouth. So we got ta and da. Now it might feel a little extreme to say out loud like this so many times, but it's really helpful for you to practice where it fits in your mouth and to kind of say it in an exaggerated way. You want these consonants at the beginning of these syllables to come out really strong so that it has the ability to pass all the way through all the tubing and out of your bell. So it seems like a lot right now, but the more secure you are in how these syllables happen, more articulate it'll come out of the other end of your bell. So let's try to do 4 tas and then 4 das. We'll do that together twice, just to kind of feel how it is in our mouth and to take note of how we're sitting, even though we're focusing on one part of our body. All right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 da, 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 da. Ta, 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 da, 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 da. Now, what you might be wondering is how I mentioned 3 different kinds of notes, and we only talked about 2 different kinds of articulation. This is sort of a secret blessing of the trombone, is that we can kind of wiggle our way around some of the other difficult work that other folks might have to do, just because of how our instrument is shaped and how it works. So we use ta for staccato or shorter notes, or ones that have accents over top. You want to really make the front of the note more significant. So, ta, ta. We use da as a regular, just kind of you see notes on the page. There's no particular markings above or below. Da is how we kind of communicate the regular notes. Now when we have slurred notes, we also use da, but we kind of connect them a little more. So your da almost has 2 A's instead of 1. So you want to connect the notes together. And you can imagine that as we use our slide, you also want to have a break between the notes so that they don't just run together. All right, so I'm going to play a couple of different versions for you, talk through what I'm doing in my mouth, and maybe you can hear a difference for you as well. So I'm going to start with tas and that very strong articulation. I'll do a couple of regular das if I was just going to play some scales or some notes. And then we'll practice and try out some of our kind of legato or slurred notes. All right, so let's start with ta. I'm going to listen to the front of that note. My tongue is hitting right at the back of my teeth. Now, if we have just some regular notes, I'm going to use da, so my tongue is a little bit higher, closer to the roof of my mouth. And I just want the whole part of this note to be even, like it was just bricks. All right? You can hear it there. They're more connected. They're not as separated, but the beginning still has a clear kind of distinction. Great. So now I'm going to try some legato notes. I'm going to try to make them even more connected, but still find a way to distinguish what the different notes are. All right, so listen carefully. I'm using da again, so my tongue is close to the roof of my mouth. And we'll try out some different notes and see if you can hear a difference. Right, so as we move the slide, we don't want it to get muddy. We have to hit the different notes in between. This is something different when your band teacher might talk to, say, saxophones or clarinets. Their keys change for them, and so they don't have to articulate very differently in between. But because of our slide and the connected nature of how our notes work, we want to be sure to leave room that each note can still be heard. So just to go over it again, I'm going to do a series of notes. First with ta for that strong articulation, my tongue behind my teeth. Then I'll do regular da, have a little bit of space but want to make the notes very even. And then last I'll do some legato slurred notes that you can kind of hear them more connected, but each one is its own. All right. So you can kind of hear how the different notes work together, and you can hear when it's different in between them as well. The biggest key is that there's normally not a lot of space between notes, so you got to sneak in breaths here and there, or you got to make sure you're paying attention to what's on the page. So I'm sure you and your band director have gone over slurs, kind of the arc that's above, or staccato notes with the dots, accent notes. And you just want to kind of pay attention. It's one of the many things you'll note as you're reading through music. And it's a great opportunity to use the trombone to your advantage and kind of keep that open tennis ball mouth. You can make a lot of different great sounds. Thanks for coming with me today. Really looking forward to teaching you some slide positions as we go forward next week. And really grateful that you're taking the time to learn how to play trombone.